Hello, 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 hello. Are you here? Let's see. So excited to be here. Yay! Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so I decided to come live today because someone asked the question the other day. If you're here, say hi. Put in the comments. Somebody asked the question from the Council of Nine for me to ask, and I posted the answer here. But then they wanted to know another question, which was, when is the war going to end? Let me just double check that was the question. um, anyway, yeah, I think it's the one in Jordan, right? That was the question. So I chose the answer, and I wanted to come here and give you guys the answer live because it just that's what was coming through to do it, and plus it's much faster for me um, to do it this way. So just checking here. Uh, yeah, when would they? When would the Palestine? When would Palestine be free? That was the question. When will Palestine be free? Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to make sure that I got that right. Okay. So here's the answer. Palestine is free. The war has ended. Oh, hi, Majana. I'm answering your question right now. Amazing. So nice to see you here. Okay. Palestine is free. The wars have ended. Everything exists in the now. When we ask a question about the when will XYZ happen, whatever it is that you want to know about, you are really asking about the timeline on Earth, right? Because that's what we live and that's what we want to know. So the timeline on Earth, which is the illusion, which is the game, when will this end? When will Palestine be free? When, right? So those are the questions. And what they're saying is it already is. And what you're saying or what we see is like, no, it's not true. It's not happening. That's not what I see. It's all about the perspective because everything exists in the now, right? And we live on earth, which is a place of duality. Whatever exists, the opposite exists at the same time right now. So it's a matter of shifting consciousness, of shifting into a place where the reality that we prefer exists already because it's there, it's already there. There's nothing to do, there's nothing to create, there's nothing to wait for, there's nothing to ask for. It already is, it exists. Because you asked that question, because so many people are looking into when is the war going to end, when is evil going to end, when is hate going to leave this earth. All of those questions are really high conscious questions, but they are rooted on the 3D, which is where we're living now, right? The when is the 3D. We're still living in the 3D. The seeing things happening as what we want them to be, that's 5D and beyond. That's the part when we see things as what we want them. So the fact that you are imagining, seeing, hoping, waiting for XYZ, the war to end, Palestine to be free, all of those things means it exists because it would not exist if you didn't have it in your thought already. The fact that you have it in your thought as a question, is this going to happen, is that it means that it already exists. It's already here. It's already happening, right? So the reality that we're living into is really feeding the fear. Hi Aisha, nice to see you. Thanks for being here. So all of the reality that we're seeing now, if you tune into the news anywhere, it's and even actually even in the spiritual community, like on YouTube, you can see a lot of spiritual people talking about what's happening and the end of the world and doom and lots of bad things happening. And it has that connotation because that's what sells. That's what sells. We, the human us, is addicted to hearing and tuning into the bad, the scary part, right? But what does that do for us? Nothing except keep us chained to the idea of fear. Once we're fearful, We don't move. We don't take action. We don't do anything because we're fearful, right? This is how Hitler was able to destroy an entire population, because people were fearful to stand up, even though the amount of people that were killed were so much great. It was so much greater than the army, right? But nobody did anything. Nothing happened. Why? Because of the fear. Fear immobilizes us. So as long as we're tuning into the loom and gloom, that will continue to exist in your reality, in our reality. It continues to be here because we're putting energy in that place. When we begin to see this from the higher self, from the divine part of you, from the God creator part of you, then we're able to see how everything exists at once. Peace and war, good and bad. Everything is existing. And if we're putting our attention here to the parts that we don't like, the parts that are fearful, the wars, the taking away, the jealousy, the fear, all of that stuff, then we are feeding that reality into our reality because we're putting our attention there. So if you want to shift and move into a place of Jordan is already free, there are no more wars. We are all getting along. The earth belongs to all of us. Everything is happening for us, right? Everything is abundant. No one is suffering of or dying of famine or things like that, right? All of those things. If that's what you want to see in this reality, in your world right now, then that's where you focus your attention on. That's what you begin to create, because you are the creator of what? Of your own reality, right? So if we see wars, if we see hate, if we see separation in the world, it's because we are putting attention on that. We're giving more fuel, and then that happens and it realizes in our reality, right? If you begin to see what you want to see happen already done, then you will shift into the parallel reality into which that already happens. And it's not going to be like one day there's war, and the next day it's perfect and everything's clean and beautiful. You're going to shift little by little as your consciousness, as your awareness is able to hold. So as you're able to hold an understanding of I am the creator, I'm the one who's doing this. I don't know what happened here to my phone. If I'm creating my own reality. I am the one who is creating this reality on Earth right now, because it's your reality, right? You are the player in your game. If there's war, if there's oppression, if there's hate, if there's poverty, if there's famine in your world, it's because you are creating that world. It's yours. It does not exist for everyone. Who does it not exist for? You're asking, right? It's the whole world. This is happening in this part of the world, and this is happening in that part of the world. How can you say it doesn't exist for everyone? Well, to give you an example, let's say someone lives somewhere on the planet who does not have social media, does not have any type of connection to the outside world except of where they live. And if they live in a beautiful village where there's peace, where there's love, where there's abundance, they have no idea of what's happening outside of that space because there's no way of seeing it, right? Now, does that mean it's not happening? Does that mean it doesn't exist? Right, it doesn't exist for them. It is not in their reality because it is not in their awareness at all. Therefore, where is their attention going? It's going to the now, to the here, to what I see, to what I like, to creating the beauty around me that I'm already seeing as a reflection of what I'm already feeling and thinking, right? That's exists for them. And if you're on the other side, if you're living in the war, in the oppression, in the famine, in the scarcity, then you're like, oh my goodness, when is this going to end? This is what the world is like. And let's say that if you're there and you also don't have connection to outside, then your understanding and perception and belief of your world will be that the entire world is like that. So this is just a way of kind of like showing you how both things can exist at the same time, because it's the perception, right, of who we are and where we are and what we have access to. But that's just a way, a tool. This is just a tool for you to be able to see, to be able to understand how it works, because every single one of us is creating their own reality, their own world around us. So the question was, will Jordan ever be free? Or when will they be free? And what they said is, it already is. You must just choose the reality in which it is and then shift into that place. And this is what I was saying before. You're not going to shift from like one day it is and one day it isn't. You're going to start shifting little by little when you begin to experience less and less of that chaos, of that scarcity, of that fear. You're going to experience less and less somehow, anyhow. I don't know how, because it depends on how you are giving your attention to what, right? And you're going to be shifting little by little into the reality of love, of light, and peace. And guess what? We're all going there. We're going to the 5D, to the ascension of 5D, where there are no wars, there's no famine, there's no scarcity. We become light bodies, light beings of light. That's exactly what it means, light beings, right? That's what we become. And we move into the space where everything in the world that belongs to all of us, that we can see as a whole from up there, from the divine perspective of yourself, you get to see it all happening and you get to experience that life which you want. Does that make sense? I see some comments coming in. Funny, today they're not coming in on my cell phone, but they are coming on my laptop, so amazing. Let's see over here what the comments say. Aisha says, so it is the collective perspective of people, that's why we are seeing the... Yes, it's the collective perspective of the people. So the more people that put energy into that, as oh no, that's terrible, this is fearful, horrible things, whatever it is that we're tuning into, we continue to create, right? We are writing the story, we are writing the script of what we're seeing. We see a little phrase and we tune into that and we feed it, we begin to feed it. And the more that we feed it, the more that it becomes a reality in your life, okay? Nice to see you too. Marjana says, please, 2 questions. The thing is that we need to have a reality of harmony for the whole world, not just for us. Okay, that is a misconception. I understand your point of view. I understand your perspective because I was there too. But the understanding is this. You are God. You are God creator. You are the one creating the entire world that you see and feel and experience. You, that's you. And that is your reality, yours. So that means that you exist as God creator in your world, and I exist as God creator in my world. You see where I'm going with this? We each exist in our own space that we create our own world. And as you begin to raise your frequency, put your attention into the things that you like to see, in the things that you enjoy, that you love, that feel yummy, that feel amorous, that feel abundant around you. When you feel love, when you feel worthy, when you feel abundant, when you feel love, like you are love, and you begin to exude that energy out within the circle of people around you in your reality, then that begins to expand into that circle, and then each of the persons in your circles begin to expand and expand, and that's how you create the entire world to be at peace, at love. Does that make sense? It's not that's why I said it's not like one day it is and one day it isn't. It begins to grow, but it starts with you. because it is your reality. It is your game. Okay, so imagine you're playing a video game and you're sitting in front of the laptop, the computer, the console, and you're playing a game. And in the game, there's an avatar which represents you. And you are in a world in that game that you're choosing to play. You're playing that game that you chose. You're the avatar. Who is controlling your avatar, the one that represents you? It's you, the human, sitting in front of him, right? That's exactly what this reality is like. That's what it is. So you consciousness is controlling your body, your human body, in the game of Earth. And you created Earth, your game, like the one on the screen, when you choose a video game. Does that make sense? This is just like a super, very advanced game that you're playing. I hope this is answering your question. So, as you begin to play the game and you see chaos and you see wars and you begin to be the superhero in your own game and you begin to annihilate all of these chaotic spaces and all of the things that are not working out that you don't like, guess where they're coming from? They're coming from you. These are your thoughts, your feelings projected out into your game. When you heal yourself, you begin to feel worthy. You begin to feel love, love itself, like you are love itself. Then your game changes to be love, to be compassion, to be empathy, to be love and light, to be abundance, because you are managing the game that you live in. Does that make sense? It becomes like you are, as you heal yourself, you begin to lose and drop off the parts of you, the human parts of you that are no longer serving you. And these are the parts of judgment, the parts of feeling not worthy, the parts of feeling not good enough, the parts of feeling like, I'm just one person, I can't do anything. You are the one person who can do everything because you are the creator of your own reality. Does that make sense? So as you heal yourself, you will begin to feel empathy for others. You will begin to see things as being perfect, in perfect balance, showing you the light and the dark for the purposes of the experience, the expansion. And then you can choose to lean into the light if that's what you like most, so that you can experience and live in that area of your own consciousness, of your own creation, of your own making. Yeah, so the next thing that's coming through on that is, this is a way that anyone here, anyone who's listening to this, can check to see if you're there, right? Am I there yet? Did I heal enough? Have I healed parts of me that are creating the parts of the world that I don't like? You will know it when you are able to look at things and not feel judgment. You're not going to feel like, oh, that was a good act that person did, or that was a terrible thing that person did, or that's a horrible thing that happened, or that's a really good thing that happened, right? Either way, we're judging. We are saying that this is good and this is bad. But everything just is. Everything just is. And everything is perfect. In perfect harmony, in perfect balance, it's a game. Does that make sense? So allow yourself to heal enough and get yourself to the place where you're feeling love, when you're feeling compassion, when you're like seeing people and you're no longer seeing them from the point of view that triggers you, or that makes you upset, or that makes you angry, or that makes you sad to look at. Now you're experiencing it as like, oh, I see that. It is. Okay. Oh, I noticed that. That's interesting. Okay. But we're not putting the background tail of it that we have learned to do, which is judging what is good and what is not. Because even when we do judge, depending on your perspective and your point of view, whatever you feel is good, someone else might think it's not. I mean, take the war, right? If you're on one side of the war and you are doing whatever it is that you're doing to fight, you obviously believe that what your actions are doing to save your land, help your country, whatever it is, are good. Those are the good things, and the other people are the bad ones, right? And guess what? The other side is doing the same thing. They're like, oh, they're taking our land. They're the bad ones. We need to defend ourselves, right? There's the judgment from both sides. It's the same war, it's the same conflict, but both of them believe that they're right? And that's the separation. That's the separation from the divine, the separation from who you truly are, the separation from you being God creator that believes that you have to take a side, that you have to be either here or there, that you have to choose something, that you have to judge things, right? And you don't. You don't, because you are the creator of all of it. You just created both sides fighting. When you go into a video game and you go into that video game to play, and let's face it, most of the video games are about some type of fighting, right? Killing things, shooting things, taking things from others. That's what the video games are for. I've never been into video games, but my son started to do that now, and like I'm learning more about it. That's what drives human beings, right? That's you're modeling the game in after humans, after the human consciousness, which is very limited. It's not the consciousness of all, of being able to see it all, of having free will, of being able to do things and experience things, because no one really is getting hurt in the game, is it? In a game, in the video game that you're playing and you're doing whatever you're doing and you're winning, you can be the superhero. Are the avatars in the game actually dying? Are they actually suffering? No, they're there to entertain you. They're the game. You're getting through them, and after you get rid of them, they disappear. They're no longer there. And that's exactly the same thing that happens here on Earth. I know it's a huge concept, a huge thing to wrap your mind around it. So you might want to watch this a couple of times and let it sink in. Let it sink in. Usually, when I hit something from someone that they're speaking the truth and it resonates with me, I watch it literally over 10 times in a row. Tune, 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 tune. Right? Why? Because like every time I hear it, something else drops in, and it begins to integrate until I understand it. So maybe that works for you. I don't know. But I'm just giving you that heads up in case you want to. Let's see what else it says here. We need to have a reality of harmony for the whole world, not just us. Yes, I just explained that. So how would this explain Gaza, or let's say the Macedonian partition in 1913? A collective creates the reality of this. Okay, so a collective creates the reality. Wait, something just happened. Oh, okay. I think there was another message, and so it came through. A collective creates the reality for its people. That is correct, but only if you're tuned into that collective. So a couple of months ago, there was a huge hurricane in Florida, and then there was another one that was coming within a week that was supposed to be like the complete destruction of Florida. Like it was like going to wipe out Florida. It was that big. There was so much fear online, on the web. Everyone was talking about leaving, and it's going to wipe out Florida. It's going to flatten it out. It's going to inundate everything. This is the second one I'm talking about. After the first one, that was pretty bad, right? And what happens? What happened? The collective of people, of light workers, who were like not going to take this. No, this is not right. We can do something about it. Went to work. And the work that everyone did around, who was aware of what was happening here, was they went in to stop the storm, to make it less, to diminish it, to make it not happen. And the intention from all of these light workers all over went into that place, into that hurricane, to not make it real. It's not my reality. That's not what I believe in. It's not going to happen. No, it's going to be just a small storm. And that's exactly what happened. The collective of all of the minds of light workers that came together with the intention of stopping something that was coming from Mother Nature, that was going to destroy the entire state of Florida, didn't happen. It didn't happen because the collective came together, right? And how did it start? It started with one person, let's say you or me, creating this and then tuning in to or connecting to other light workers in their own realities who are also tuning into the same reality that I was and doing the same thing. And that it was stopped. It was stopped like that, right? The same thing can happen and has happened for the wars. The same thing, right? It's the collective of the numbers of people intending love, light, and peace for one particular place at the same time. There's been many studies of people doing this on purpose. And I don't have the dates because that's one of the things that I don't have. That's not part of my gift of remembering exactly the things. But you can look it up. Joe Dispenza talks about it. There's many other psychics who talk about it. I don't know who that is. But you can find it online and you can find this information about light workers coming together, meditating for like several hours, several days, sometimes several weeks together with the intention of putting love and peace into one particular place that there's a lot of chaos and literally stopping things from going on. So yes, that's how we do it. Okay. Second question, I hope I answered your question. I would say it's time when all the truth is coming out. Yes, you tried. So if the world hadn't heard of Gaza now, like in the 76 years of genocide, there wouldn't be a chance for them to be liberated. So wouldn't this focus on Gaza is created for them and by them? Okay, so only for the people who are not aware of it, right? So obviously, if you're there and going through that experience, you are aware of it. Somebody is aware of it, right? All of this child trafficking, sex trafficking, that's, well, I don't know if I can say those words on Facebook, that are coming up from all over, and the truth is coming out of what has been happening. It's not happening now. I mean, it is happening now, but I mean, this has been happening for decades and decades of years. It has been happening. People have been aware of it. Victims have been around. But the world wasn't aware of it until now. How are we all aware of it now? Because of AI, of social media, of the advances that we have with technology, right? So the technology wasn't here to support the information being spread on a level that it is being spread now, so that no one can hide. Yes, all the darkness is coming up and it's splatter. It's being splattered on all over the place so that people can be more aware of them. So that's how it works. And so the question was, wouldn't this focus on Gaza is created by them, for them and by them? Okay, so remember that our parents, our grandparents, our ancestors, they were not living in a world like we are, right? So right now we're living in a world of enlightenment where we're remembering who we are, where it's safe to speak up, where it's safe to speak up about being a healer, about using plant medicine, about using energy healing, about seeing extraterrestrials and communicating with them. It is safe, or safer, than it had been in our parents' lives and their parents and all of our ancestors. So as all of this stuff has been happening, we as people have been repressing and suppressing all of this information of suppression. We have been suppressing the thoughts and ideas and knowledge of suppression, right? That you can see something happening, but there's no way to ask for help, or it feels like there's no way, and there's no way to speak it out. And what are we doing with that? We're holding that energy within. And when we hold that energy within, collectively in big masses of people all over the world, then we create situations such as this, the Gaza thing, like 76 years ago, all the stuff that you're mentioning. Does that make sense? So it is, every single time, it is our own wounds, our own beliefs, our own perspective that we have about what life is all about what we need to do, about what we can or cannot do. It is our beliefs and our suppressions that keeps us separate from the divine being that we are, from the power that we have, and that suppression is what creates the chaos, is what creates all the other things that I mentioned before that I don't want to mention again because I don't know if I can mention those words on Facebook without getting banned or something. So those are the things. Does that make sense? That's why it exists. And again, we live in a world of duality where if one thing exists, the opposite also does. Now, we have been taught for generations and generations one story, that we're separate, that we're powerless, that we're not worthy, right? And that has been the story that we have been told. However, our higher self, our divine selves, knows that that's not true. And that's the war that happens within us, right? As a child, if you see something that's happening that it doesn't resonate, like you know there's something wrong with that, and then you speak up, and then you wham, get smacked, like mind your business, or stay out of this, or don't tell anybody, right? All of those things, that's the suppression. That is the disconnect of, wait a second, I knew that was wrong, but now I'm being told to be quiet and not do anything about it. So that's when we began to detach from the divine, forgetting even more who we are, the power that we have, what we're able to create, what we're able to do, because we're told by the adults that we can't and we're not able to. And if you speak, you'll get punished, right? That has been the cycle going forward for so many generations until now. Now everything's changing. Now kids are coming out, they're waking up, they're coming out awake is what I'm trying to say. They're coming up with the knowledge that we are waking up to, that we're like, oh, now I remember who I am, oh, now I know I can communicate, oh, now I know. The kids are being born with this knowledge, and because they're being born with that knowledge, two parents who are doing the work and waking up, now they have the support to continue to grow. They are the light beings. They are the ones that are changing what's happening here and bringing us to the 5D ascension. Okay, I hope that works. That answer. Let me see what else it says here. I hope that makes sense. I don't know. I don't really get this. I understand. I have been doing a lot of work, and I have read things and listened to things over and 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 over. I'm not even exaggerating. In order to get this, through meditation, through learning, through my teachers, and through other spiritual beings here on earth who have done the work more than me up to that point. I have done a lot of work in order to understand. So I don't expect you to just be like, yes, of course, I got it. I understand. It's okay. Just let it seep in. Just play with it. Play with the idea that what you're hearing is true. Just play with it, and just allow it to seep through, and it will begin to integrate, and you will begin to remember, and the truth will come through for you. Okay. It doesn't apply to every aspect of life. We know what is good and what is not, and even if we do something wrong, we know it's wrong. So if we don't have judgment, we will start doing whatever each likes. Okay, great point of view. Yes, that is exactly what we would do as a human being, because the human being who is still disconnected from their own divine being still believes they're separate, still believes there's scarcity, still believes that I need to take away from you in order to have more, right? This is why wars happen. I want more land, so let me take it away, so now I become richer, right? That's what it is. It's power and money, right? That's what it is. That's the human mind. As we begin to ascend, hi Wade! As we begin to ascend, as we begin to understand and remember who we are, then you begin to shift your consciousness into 5D. And when you're going to 5D, guess what? All of those thoughts and ideas of wanting more, taking from someone else, don't exist. Love, peace, joy, abundance, those are the only frequencies that exist on the 5D and up, because those are the high frequencies. The frequencies of hate, of fear, of taking things away, of scarcity, those are low frequencies that live only on the 3D and below. So as you are doing the work, as you're healing yourself, as you're coming into that consciousness and awareness that you are divine, that you're shining your love, that you're shining your awareness and your wisdom out just by being, just through your energy, not by needing to talk or trying to um, throw down somebody's throat like your knowing or your awareness. Not by that, but just by being, right? Just by being, your frequency, your energy elevates those around you. And then you all move into the higher frequency spaces where you understand that we're all connected, that we're all one, and that if I hurt you, I'm actually hurting myself. You understand this in the 5D and beyond. You don't understand that here on the 3D, which is why we're like, take, save, gather, right? Because we still have this feeling of separation where like, I don't have enough and I have to take from you or from somebody else, or I have to whatever, right? That's the separation. Once you get to the 5D, which we're moving into that area right now, then you release all of those needs, which are 3D needs, thoughts, ideas, beliefs, and you rise up to the understanding, the remembering, the feeling that you are indeed connected to every single being on earth, whether it's a person or an animal or a thing or a tree or a plant or Mother Earth or the sky or the clouds. You are all of it. You are connected to all of it. So you already have everything. You don't need anything other than all that you are. You understand this, and then all of those other things do not happen. The judgment of what's good and bad is only here on 3D. On 5D, there is no one doing anything that you can judge as a bad thing. And if you look down, just to say down, because it's not like up and down, I'm just using that as a three-dimensional tool so that we can understand, and I can explain it to you in a way that we can understand. There's no hierarchy. Everybody's the same. Everybody's equal. Everybody's amazing. Everybody's connected, right? And if you be looking from up there, like when the angels or the Council of Nine looks down upon us people and they see what we're doing to each other, they're not saying, oh, those are bad people, taking the lives of others in a war. They're saying, you got free will. Are you enjoying that? Because what? Because they understand that it's, again, number one. Number two, they understand free will. And when we're doing things that from the three-dimensional perspective are not nice or they're not good, has a purpose. And the purpose is what? To experience what that is so that you can understand and appreciate the opposite. You cannot appreciate love and light without having something to compare it to. And you create this game here on earth so that we can experience it and decide, oh yeah, that was not exactly nice, but now I really understand and I can really encompass what this is. This love and light and this love and feeling together and being connected. I can understand this. I'm expanded in a new way. I can, that's what it is. It's an expansion of the heart. It's an expansion of your consciousness of like, oh, yeah, this is amazing, right? Because imagine if you were born in a beautiful field of flowers and everything is love and light. And if you want a fruit, you become the fruit. And if you see the cloud, oh my gosh, I love to fly, and then there you are, you become the cloud, you are the bird, you're flying, you are the tree, you can feel it from within what each one of these things that you want are. You can feel it because you become it, right? Because you are one. So that's how it is, right? So here on earth, you have the luxury of feeling separate, feeling like you're not it, that you're not connected, and then you get to experience things from the different perspectives. Does that make sense? And when we do crossover, when we leave our three-dimensional body and we move up to 4, 5D and above, we get to see what we did here. We get to experience that the judgment comes right there, and it comes from yourself. It comes because when we cross over, we get what is called, you probably heard this, the life review. And the life review is not like God showing you, oh, you did all of these things and this many bad things and this many good things and you go to hell, to heaven, whatever, right? First of all, there is no hell. The way it happens is that you go into this other space, and in a second, a human second, I would say, you get like a whole entire movie of every single thing, interaction that you had while here on earth with whomever you were interacting with, and everything that you did and say, and you get to feel from the other person's perspective what your words, what your actions felt for them. So let's say I'm here and I punch somebody and I leave and I'm laughing at them. Ha ha ha, right? Right? When I cross over in my life review, I'm going to be the one punching this other person and the one being punched. Why? Because we're all one. We're the same, right? And I'm going to get hit by me. And I'm going to feel that, and then I'm going to feel that shame of me walking away laughing at me. That's where the judgment comes from. It's your own consciousness. And then from that point of view, you're like, oh, that's what my actions did. That's what the judgment is. It's not some other being separating you or telling you what was good or bad. It is you. It's all you. Because you are God. You are the creator. Okay, I hope that this works. Let's see. Woo! Okay, thank you. Don't have to answer the last question to leave space for, oh, thank you. You're so, I came here to answer your questions, so you're fine. And guys, if you have questions for the Council of Nine, the angels, anyone else, just go in the chat that I have here and post the question, and then when I have time, I tune in and I just write it down. So, but today I knew it's going to be longer, so I was prompted to come live instead of writing it. I mean, could you imagine me writing all of this stuff out? It's been a long time. All right, let me see what else. Aisha, well, it's very, oh, I'm glad. Can V freeze the people in subjective realm? Okay, I don't know what V means. Can V freeze the people in subjective realm V don't want to be friends with? I don't understand what the question is. I'm sorry. Because at times I feel a huge vibrational mismatch with certain people. I know what you mean. I know I might be judging them. I know. As they have their own beliefs, but some things doesn't feel right. Or with some people for some reason. Okay. Aisha, what you're doing is you're judging yourself. Okay? Yes, you think that you're judging others, but actually what's happening here is you're judging yourself for judging them. Does that make sense? Every person that is in your game that you have created is here to help you remember who you are. So some of them are going to play one role and some of them are going to play another. And as you continue to do the work, as you continue to ascend, you are going to feel less need for some of these avatars, players that you created for your games. You're going to feel less need for that. And as you have less need for them, you are going to feel disconnected, or like you don't want to hang out with them anymore, or like you don't want to be around them anymore, or like whatever, right? Whatever you're feeling, you're going to feel that. But that is a sign that you are moving through the game. You are ascending in your own game. You are moving through the levels in your own game. And the purpose of that person, avatar, whether it's a friend, family, loved one, whomever it is, if you're feeling disconnected and like separate, it's because they have played the role enough for you to move on to the next level, and you no longer need them. And that's okay. It's okay. It's not like, oh, I'm going to leave this or that. No, it's like you're moving through and you're letting go of what no longer serves you, right? So it no longer serves you in order to keep on playing the game. So again, go back to I'm playing a video game and I am controlling my avatar in the game who's playing this game and is going through life, your life, and now these people that were in my life are no longer resonating with me and I kind of feel bad, but they kind of like, I feel like I'm judging them, but like they're not as awake or then whatever it is that you're feeling about them. Fine, that's part of you moving on and realizing that you're different now, that you have moved on to the next level. So these people are not going to be here. It's just like on a video game, you have let's say you have a land that you have to go through to play in this video game, and then when you go to the next level, that land is no longer there, it no longer exists. Now you have different land, different settings, different what do you call them, figures coming on, and you're playing with those figures. That's the same thing here. So as you are dropping some people that you may know that if you feel like you're judging them, it's really that you're judging yourself, because there's part of you or within you that resonates still with them. And you don't want to. You don't want to because you're like, wait a second, I've learned enough, I've opened myself enough, I feel different things enough, right? I understand things enough, not as before. So I don't really want to hang out with them, and they just don't want to come up with me. They don't want to understand what I understand, right? But it's part of you that's still lingering to that old part of yourself, to that old life that you had, to that old group of conversations and gatherings that you had with that type of people, that you were part of them. There's part of you that still has that feeling and belief, right? And this is why it feels like judging, but it's really you're judging yourself, like, oh, I know all of this, so why do I still want to hang out with them? Well, I don't want to hang out with them. And that's where you come the back and forth. That's the three-dimensional back and forth, where you have one foot in the 3D and one foot on the 5D, and you're navigating this, and you're navigating the people, the vibrational energies of the people when you are feeling high, and then when you're doubting yourself or you're having a bad day, then you're feeling actually more aligned with them. And that's when you get to look at them, and that's when you're judging them, which means you're judging yourself because you came down from your high frequency that you had received or you had gotten up to. You had come down to it to match with them. That's why you see them. You're only seeing them because you're vibrating at the same frequency. And now you see that and you judge yourself for being there. Don't, because this is a life. This is a game, right? There's no reason to judge yourself for where you are in your quest here. It is time for you to just see it as like, oh yeah, I passed that level, and today I was feeling like I didn't really want to study anymore, or I didn't want to play the harder level, so I'm just going to come down to the lower level and hang out here. And now I'm like, this is kind of boring, or I don't really like it, or whatever it is that comes up for you, right? I'm just playing with it. Play with the idea that this is the game. Play with the idea that this whole reality that you call Earth, everyone in your space is here just to help you remember who you are. And who you are is a divine being of light, God, creator of everything that you see in your reality. All right, guys. This went a lot longer than I expected. I do need to go. I need to get dinner ready for my son. So I love you. I hope this was helpful, and I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.